Welcome to the Boston Barrister, Kevin Patrick Sieber, bringing you insights about your family and the world.
Welcome to the Boston Barrister. My name is Kevin Patrick Sieber. I'm located in Boston, Massachusetts. Today on the Boston Barrister, we're going to talk about Karen Read. This is a story that's not going to go away anytime soon for a whole bunch of reasons that we're going to discuss today. Karen Read, of course, unless you were under a rock for the last couple of years, was a hung jury the first time she was tried, and the second time she was exonerated of all the major charges. Everybody has their theory on the case. What has certainly come out of all this is many different things, including the characters involved as well as possible Hollywood deals. In December, Rob Reiner and his wife were killed, allegedly, by their son, Nick Reiner. Now, everybody's presumed innocent until proven guilty. Alan Jackson, who was one of the attorneys representing Karen Read, stepped forward and was retained to represent Nick Reiner in December of 2025. At the arraignment on January 7, 2026, poof, Alan Jackson was no longer representing Nick Reiner. He didn't even speak to the press, who, during the Karen Read trial, he couldn't say enough to them. So ironically, he left, Snagglepuss stays left off stage, not to be heard from about Nick Reiner's case. Now, in fairness to Alan Jackson, Nick Reiner has what's called an attorney-client privilege. That privilege is held by the client, Nick Reiner, not by Alan Jackson. So I'm sure Alan Jackson would like to have said some things, but because it's an important right, the attorney-client privilege, he was not and would not do such. Next in January, I call them the Michaels. Michael Morrissey, who was the district attorney, and Michael Proctor, the lead investigator for the state police. Michael Morrissey was a state representative elected in 1976 by the good people of the city of Quincy, the city of presidents, Quincy, Massachusetts. In 1993, Michael Morrissey was elected from the fine city of Quincy, the city of presidents, to be the state senator for Quincy and other areas in that region. In 2011, Michael Morrissey was elected as the district attorney for Norfolk County. He, in January of 2026, announced he was not running for re-election as district attorney of Norfolk County. Now, many hold an opinion, some good, some bad, some indifferent, as to Michael Morrissey. All I can say is that Michael Morrissey, as a state rep, was on the Boston Harbor Commission, which Quincy neighbors and borderlines Boston. And being on the Boston Harbor Commission, he helped clean up Boston Harbor. He did so by proposing and supporting legislation, which today Boston Harbor is in really good shape. And if you're going to throw rocks at Michael Morrissey, you got to give him credit for things he did do, which had nothing to do with being a district attorney. But as a state rep, he helped clean up Boston Harbor. And for that alone, I hold him in very high esteem, and I thank him for such. Boston Harbor is on the borderline of not only Quincy, but other cities and towns like Winthrop and beyond. Cleaning up Boston Harbor also helps all the neighboring water surrounding Boston. This cleaning up of Boston Harbor by Michael Morrissey as a state rep was long overdue, and I truly appreciate his efforts and what he did. There are many aspirants who have lined up to become the next district attorney for Norfolk County. I wish them all good luck. It's a tough position with tough choices to be made and tough decisions to be rendered. The second Michael in the Karen Read trial was Michael Proctor. He was the former state police officer who was fired for his inappropriate conduct and behavior in his text messages, which were just viral. He is now involved in a federal court case with Karen Read about the appropriateness, or more importantly, the inappropriateness of his conduct, his behavior, and his attitude. That will be a very interesting outcome, to say the least. Michael Proctor was suspended and released by the state police after the hung jury in July of 2024. Michael Proctor was later fired in March of 2025 from the state police. Michael Proctor dropped his appeal to try and regain his job in October of 2025. December of 2025, Michael Proctor was barred from becoming a law enforcement agent in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. On the Karen Read trial, I'm going to give you a name you're probably not going to recognize it. Aidan Kearney, or maybe you do. But I always know Aidan Kearney by the name Turtleboy. Now you know him, don't you? He was the professional blogger who wrote all about Karen Read's trial and truly was a very influential person in getting her to be, in my humble opinion, exonerated. Now, this may have happened, the exoneration of Karen Read, with or without Turtleboy, but he sure helped. And I say that unequivocally because there's just things in the case that I'll never understand. Never understand. Turtleboy struck gold. He has recently been offered a deal with compelling pitches to do a feature-length movie about the Karen Read trial and his role. He also has a documentary series, docuseries about Turtleboy's role in the Karen Read trial. The feature film is based upon his activism in being influential in the Karen Read trial as well. The docuseries is in production as I speak. What I'm truly waiting for, though, and look forward to hearing, is when Karen Read takes the stand on the witness stand in a civil trial. Now, why is that? Well, in a criminal trial, she has a Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination, which her lawyers brilliantly implemented and executed. She did not testify. But in a civil trial, you do not have such a constitutional right. So with that said, she will have to testify at some point in time on the witness stand, under oath, to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. And I am so looking forward to hearing what Karen Read has to say, because she's been silent so long for obvious reasons. She didn't want to self-incriminate. She also didn't want to give away anything to the defense. Brilliant strategy by her lawyers. But she will have to testify at the civil trial. And that is exactly what I think will be of the most utmost importance and interesting to everyone that has watched or followed even the smallest amount of the Karen Read trial. Remember, the United States Constitution reads, "We, the people." Till next time, thank you.